Growth is such an important topic that we should all constantly do. I don't think you can grow enough in life. There's always something new to learn. There's always something new to do and overcome in all aspects of life, in your career, in your personal life, with your friends, with your family. I have the power to shape my own destiny and become the person I aspire to be. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Magical You podcast by Catrice, with me, your host, Olivia. Today, we're going to be discussing something that I really think sums up all the areas we have talked about to date: growth. It's an absolutely fitting theme for today, as this is the last episode in the current series, which feels like a real landmark in my meditation growth and fulfillment journey. I have learned so much while making this series, from looking further into and discussing the topics we have covered, but also from hearing from you and how the themes have impacted you and your life. Today, I really want to reflect on the journey we've been on together so far, what I've learned, and how I'll be incorporating those learnings into my life going forwards. As you are very familiar with by now, I like to start each discussion with a quote that I feel really supports the subject and gives interesting insight or perspective. Today's quote is, "The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be." That's by Ralph Waldo Emerson, the American poet and philosopher. This truly resonates with me, as I think it really speaks to taking control of your future, owning your journey, and knowing that you are empowered to achieve anything you want to. And if you put your mind to it, you can get to wherever you want to be in life, and no one can hold you back. I'm excited about the look I've chosen to reflect the theme today. I'm going with a gorgeous green eye and natural tones. I always think green is such a calming color that makes me think of the earth and nature, and of course, growth. So to start off the discussion, I'm going to say that growth doesn't happen by chance. It's a whole process. You really have to work for it and take the necessary steps in your life to grow into who you want to become and who you want to be. And of course, I went on a whole journey with you through this podcast, and I definitely have grown from it. And I'm now more aware of certain things like self-care and just being more aware and mindful of the present and noticing the present and being really grateful for that. So for example, the first episode was mindfulness, and we really started from beginning there, and I did my first meditation, and it was a great episode to start with first because I really got to understand what it means to be mindful, and we broke down kind of a lot of assumptions people have with mindfulness. It's kind of really simple when you think about it, and it's just being really present in the moment. And I've definitely taken those learnings with me over the past couple of episodes and in my normal life to really appreciate when something happens to me and be aware of it. In all social situations as well, at work, with my friends, when I'm just walking alone, on the bus, like just really being present in the moment and appreciating the people around me, appreciating what's happening today. And I've been a lot calmer in that sense. I would say I'm a bit crazy sometimes. I'm all over the place. But I've noticed that I've been more calm in a positive way and more kind of content in a way, if you want to look at it that way. That can only be down to kind of being more mindful every day and filming this podcast. And the second episode was self-esteem. I spoke a bit about how I've sometimes felt imposter syndrome, especially when I moved here to Germany and starting a new job and getting these amazing opportunities. And I didn't feel like I belonged here or I deserved it. And I really struggled with that a lot when I first moved here. And we actually did affirmations in that episode, which could be really helpful to grow and develop your self-esteem. So I really hope you guys have done the affirmations and remembered them and taking them into your daily life to be a practical way you can develop and work on your self-esteem. So the third episode was self-discovery, and we spoke about how I didn't necessarily struggle with knowing who I am. I always had kind of a strong sense of what I liked and what I didn't like and what I wanted to do in my life. But we also discussed how there's no time frame for figuring out who you are and discovering who you are. You can do it at 20, 25, 50. There's no limit or kind of specific time period in your life you have to set aside for self-discovery. And it's also a good point to know that you can continuously always be discovering new things about yourself. It's a journey and it's also growing, and it also fits well in with today's episode of growth. You can always be wanting to grow and learn more about yourself and become a better person or more mindful person. For that episode, we actually did meditation, and it was actually really enlightening to take that time, breathe in, breathe out, and kind of be forced to think about self-discovery that we don't normally always think about. It's quite a heavy topic in general. If you're like, oh, I need to discover myself, it's like you can sometimes go over like a identity crisis, I think, especially when you're in your early 20s where you have to figure out, oh, what job do I want to do? What do I want to study? Or even later on in life, and you feel like you need to change careers. Yeah, I think it's just important to know that we should never stop growing, and we should always learn and continuously grow into who we want to become. The fourth episode was positivity, and as discussed in that episode, positivity comes really natural to me. I'm a very positive person, maybe sometimes too positive. I'm always like, it'll be fine. So we actually discussed how that can impact your life when you maybe sometimes too positive. But we also discussed how you can actively be more positive and what steps to take. And it's also a big thing to surround yourself with people that have a positive impact in your life. They don't have to necessarily be a positive person. They just have to be a like-minded person. They should only add to your life and not take away. And in that episode, we did affirmations. And I think affirmations fit so well with positivity because it's something you can say when you're feeling a bit negative anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in the office, on the bus, waking up. It's so easy to fit positive affirmations into your life in general. So I really liked that episode because I could really relate to it. The fifth podcast was about life fulfillment, and we spoke a bit about how I fulfilled my life quite a lot by the age of 25. I'm living basically my dream job. I moved across the world to pursue this job. I really am doing my passion every day of makeup and video and production, and it was quite a big goal of mine that I ticked off. We also discussed how sometimes it's okay to realize that you've achieved this big goal of yours and you just kind of really being mindful of that and living in it. So you don't always have to achieve or want to know your next goal and be constantly working towards it. You can sometimes just really appreciate that, wow, I achieved that goal. I'm just going to live in it for a moment before setting your next. Life achievements can happen at any age. But for me, when I was 25, now it's like, okay, what am I going to do in the next 5 years, which also could cause a lot of negativity and like worry. But I decided that this year, really, I'm going to try be more mindful and more present and appreciate that, yes, I did that. And now I'm really enjoying working in my passions every day, just have that positive mindset and encompass that in whatever I do. The sixth episode was self-care, and we spoke about what self-care means and how it can actually just be very simple steps that you can implement into your daily life and not something that's like a 10-step self-care routine that can be really overwhelming and not practical at all. Self-care can come in many different ways: physical self-care, mental self-care. We all know a form of self-care, but to actually explain all of them and realize you can implement little self-care aspects into your life while you're on the bus, at work, at lunchtime is also super important. Episode 7 was Owning Your Magic. And I really liked that episode because it really encompassed how you can really own what is unique to you, what makes you you. And we said in that episode, if everyone was the same, life would be so boring. I really stand by that. I really love when I see people being themselves, unique, and owning their little aspects that make them them. Whether that be them sporting their favorite eyeshadow through their clothing, or just, really owning that certain personality they have and walking into a room and really being themselves, and you can tell they're like really confident within themselves. Owning your magic is really all of those little things that make you you. I love that episode to really just discuss that. Sometimes it can be hard to fully accept who you are. We also spoke about how I've always kind of been very loud, and sometimes it's like, oh, am I too much? Shouldn't I have spoken all that time? Or I speak too much sometimes. But, as I said in the episode, if I'm too much, you can go find less. And it's kind of that kind of mindset that Owning Your Magic has. Don't ever apologize for who you are and who you want to be. Episode 8 was self-worth, and that was really kind of defining who you are and knowing your worth and knowing what you worthy of and kind of striving towards what you want in life. It also kind of discussed how everyone has their flaws. Nobody's perfect. You can kind of embrace that. It, again, is what makes you unique. And knowing that can really help in having a strong sense of self-worth. Number 9 was actually gratitude. So being thankful and gracious for the little things in life we spoke about, saying thank you to people in your life, even for doing small things. It's so important sometimes to just be mindful and be thankful in the moment when something happens to you. And that can be in every situation, at work, with your family, with your friends. We said, don't forget to say thank you, even if it's like, oh, they know. And another way that we discussed practicing gratitude was we mentioned how I actually started a gratitude journal. So writing down every day, what am I grateful for? It has a morning section, it has an evening section. So you really get to write down what's in your head, what you're feeling first thing when you wake up, and then how you can reflect on that in the evening and practice gratitude. So for the 10th episode, we spoke about self-empowerment and how you can kind of implement that into your life with some steps. So we spoke about how being more positive in general can also lead to you being more empowered in yourself when you don't have those negative feelings or negative thoughts or overthinking a situation. When you're just more positive in general, your self-empowerment will grow and kind of develop into a really strong sense of self-empowerment. And we also actually spoke about women that inspire and empower me in my life. And it's always good to have those people in your life, or just surround yourself with people that make you feel better, more positive, and empower you. And for me, it's always really strong women in the industry, whether that be in the pop industry or the industry I'm in. And it always really impacts me to feel more empowered in the things I do in my everyday life. So episode 11 was courage, and we spoke about how courage and vulnerability are actually really two close kind of subjects that when you are feeling vulnerable, it often leads to you being more courageous, and how important it is to feel vulnerable sometimes. Shouldn't shy away and feel bad or like the negative conversations around vulnerability. It can be a source of strength and courage to be vulnerable. And it's kind of a good sign sometimes to feel vulnerable, because you know you are growing and you're going to have the courage to grow. And we also spoke about one of my favorite quotes from Cinderella, which is have courage and be kind, which I really try to live by, really try to be courageous and step out of my comfort zone a lot while still being kind and a good person, and always trying to make someone's day. And also it ties in with the whole positivity kind of mindset that we're trying to go with, being more mindful and having courage. And that actually takes us to today's topic, which is growth. And looking back on all the different topics we spoke about, it had to do a lot with growth. And sitting here speaking about now how our journey has kind of evolved and how we have grown into being more mindful and being more positive and taking control of what we want to do in life. Growth is such an important topic that we should all constantly do. I don't think you can grow enough in life. There's always something new to learn. There's always something new to do and overcome in all aspects of life, in your career, in your personal life, with your friends, with your family. It's really fitting that growth is the last topic we're speaking about, because through all of these topics, I have grown and found new things about myself and become more mindful, which at the start, I did not think in that kind of mindfulness way at all. I was pretty kind of, okay, I know who I am. I do self-care. I'm grateful for my life, but really actually taking the time to think about the different topics like gratitude, self-care, mindfulness, it's a completely different way of thinking. And I really hope that you have all grown with me on this journey. I really enjoyed and appreciate being able to share all of that with you, and I hope that you were able to find some things in my story so far that could help you in the next stages of yours. Now feels like a great time to move on to some positive affirmations that can really help you think positively about working towards your life goals and believe in yourself that you can and will achieve them. First, find yourself a nice, calm, quiet space where you're not going to be distracted. We're going to start off by taking a few deep breaths in and out to help us relax. Slowly breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. I have the power to shape my own destiny and become the person I aspire to be. I have the power to shape my own destiny and become the person I aspire to be. I have the power to shape my own destiny and become the person I aspire to be. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn and evolve. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn and evolve. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn and evolve. Each and every day, I get closer to achieving my goals. Each and every day, I get closer to achieving my goals. Each and every day, I get closer to achieving my goals. Thank you for doing those affirmations with me. I hope that they give you strength on your journey to find your destiny and reach your goals in life. Remember, you can come back to them anytime you feel like you need to build your confidence to embrace your next opportunity. I just need a spritz of setting spray. And that's me ready to face another day and continue working towards my goals. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode of the Magical You podcast by Catrice. I'm so sad to say this is the last episode in the current series, but we will be back soon. In the meantime, don't forget you can go back and listen to any of the 12 episodes you missed, or keep returning to your favorite meditation and affirmation whenever you like. I would love to hear from you about how you enjoyed the Magical You podcast so far, and I hope it has helped you on your growth journey. Having you all with me has certainly helped with mine. Have a wonderful day.